I overheard my wife drunk laughing with her friends saying, "He's too stupid to know I've been cheating for years." They all burst out laughing. I didn't say a word. But when she showed up crying at my door later, she got a surprise she never expected. I'm a 33-year-old guy and never thought I'd post here. But here I am. Buckle up because this story's wild. Last weekend, I was supposed to go on an overnight trip with my boys to catch a game 2 states away. We'd planned it for months. But Daryl's kid got sick, so we had to cancel. No big deal, it happens. I thought, why not surprise Heather, my 32-year-old wife of 8 years, by coming home early? Yeah, I know how that sounds, but what happened next was even worse than catching her with another guy. I pulled into our driveway around 9 p.m. and saw a few cars I recognized, Michelle's Subaru and Kathleen's Honda. Heather had mentioned having the girls over, so it made sense. I was about to walk through the front door when I heard them out back on the deck, super loud and clearly wine drunk. I started heading back there to say hi until I heard my name, so I stopped. Call it instinct. Griffin is just so... I can't even... Heather slurred. The girls giggled. Michelle said, "I still can't believe you've pulled this off so long." Then Heather shouted, "He's too stupid to realize I've been cheating for years." They roared with laughter. I just stood there, frozen, like my brain had shut off. Then Heather kept going. "Sutton was the best decision I ever made. Last week, while Griffin was working late, he came over and we did it right there, on the couch where Griffin always takes his naps." More wild laughter. "No, not the nap couch!" Kathleen shrieked, like it was the funniest thing ever. Heather laughed and said, "You should have seen how sweet he was the next day. Made me breakfast. If only he knew." My stomach dropped. That morning, I made her favorite breakfast, avocado toast and those eggs she loves. I brought it to her in bed and told her I loved her. I just stood there, shaking. I found out my business trips were her favorite time to have Sutton over. They'd been hooking up for more than 3 years. She even saw him the weekend of my dad's funeral. Said she had food poisoning and couldn't come. I didn't confront her. I didn't make a scene. I just walked back to my car and sat in a Target parking lot trying to breathe. Probably looked insane, a grown man hyperventilating in his car at 10 p.m. I finally called Daryl. Thankfully, his kid was feeling better. He picked up. I said, "Dude, my life just exploded." He told me not to go home and to crash at his place. That night, we stayed up as he looked up divorce lawyers. I kept thinking about the weird moments from the past few years that now made sense. Girls' trips with no photos, her phone always face down, hotel charges 30 minutes from home, and late nights showing homes as a realtor. At 3 a.m. she texted me, "Girls are all passed out here. Hope you're having fun with the boys. Love you." I nearly threw my phone across the room. The audacity. "Don't say anything yet," Daryl said, taking my phone. "Play it smart." The next morning, I told her I'd crashed at Daryl's after too much drinking. She totally bought it. Even had the nerve to complain about cleaning up after her friends while nursing a hangover. Over the next week, I became a spy. When she showered, I checked her phone. Thousands of texts with Sutton. Hotel receipts, explicit photos. I took screenshots and emailed them to myself. I dug into our finances, tons of unexplained charges at restaurants I'd never been to, lingerie I'd never seen. She even used our joint account to book a weekend with Sutton while I was burying my dad. Every new thing I found was like a dagger. 8 years of marriage. All the times I defended her when my family said she was self-centered. All our future plans. The baby we were supposed to start trying for next year. I met with a divorce attorney. During lunch break, the most aggressive one I could find. She said, "Document everything. Protect your assets. Prepare for the storm. You're doing the right thing." That night, I watched Heather giggling at her phone, probably texting him, and something changed in me. The pain turned to ice. I didn't just want out, I wanted justice. Heather cared about being admired. Her image as a perfect wife, the one with the perfect life, the Instagram fairy tale. Everyone thought she was the wise, moral one. I had proof it was all fake. I started making moves, transferred half our savings to an account in my name, password protected all important documents, photographed valuables, followed every step my lawyer gave me. Meanwhile, I acted normal. Kissed her goodbye, asked about her day, watched Netflix beside her while she texted him. Every day I played the fool, planning to take everything she cared about. 2 weeks later, I was ready. I had all the documents, bank statements, and evidence of the affair. My new apartment lease was signed and paid. My family was behind me. The hardest part? Keeping my cool. Looking her in the eyes while she lied. When she said, "I love you," before bed. When she suggested we start trying for that baby next month. Every time I wanted to scream, but I didn't. Because I knew something she didn't. The woman who laughed at how dumb I was had no idea what was coming, but because the truth has a way of coming out, especially when the people involved were so careless about covering their tracks. Her image, this perfect wife, the moral compass, the queen bee of her little social group, was in ruins. The same people who used to look up to her were now whispering about her behind her back. Not because I wanted revenge in a petty way, but because I refused to let her rewrite the story and paint herself as the victim. Actions have consequences, and she was finally facing hers. As for me, I feel free. The grief is still there, don't get me wrong. You don't spend almost a decade with someone and just switch it off. But the clarity? The power of taking back control over my life? That's something else. I'm reconnecting with family, focusing on work, and rediscovering parts of myself I didn't even realize I had lost. The apartment's small, but it's mine. Every time I sit on that couch, the one that isn't tainted by betrayal, I remind myself that healing is messy, but possible. To anyone out there in a similar situation, listen, you're not crazy and you're not powerless. Document everything. Stay calm. Don't confront without a plan. And most of all, remember that you deserve honesty and respect. I'm not there yet, but for the first time in years, I feel like I'm finally headed somewhere real. Became my sanctuary and my prison at the same time. The pain was raw, but I needed that time to process everything. Slowly, I started picking up the pieces. Reconnecting with old friends, focusing on my career, and even trying new hobbies that I'd pushed aside during the marriage. Therapy helped me face the anger and grief instead of burying it. I realized healing isn't a straight line. Some days were better, some worse, but every day I was getting stronger. Now, 6 months later, I'm in a much better place. I'm no longer defined by the betrayal or the chaos Heather caused. Instead, I'm defining my own future on my terms. The divorce is finalized, the financial mess sorted, and the emotional storm mostly calmed. I'm proud I stayed methodical and calm throughout because it kept me in control when everything else felt like it was falling apart. If you're reading this going through something similar, know this. Trust yourself, gather your facts, and take your time to heal. Revenge feels good in the moment, but peace comes from walking away with your head held high. Life after heartbreak isn't just possible, it can be better than you ever imagined. The mattress on the floor looked like something out of a college dorm. 1 pot, 2 plates, 0 decorations. That's when Daryl stepped in. One Saturday morning, he showed up with bagels and forced me to actually open up about how I was feeling. I'm not much of a crier, but that day was brutal. I told him things I hadn't even admitted to myself. How, beneath all the anger, I was just sad. Sad about the years wasted, sad about the future I thought I'd have, sad that someone I trusted so deeply could betray me so casually. After that, I started therapy. Found a guy on BetterHelp who specialized in betrayal trauma. He didn't push me toward reconciliation or forgiveness or any of that Hallmark card nonsense. Just practical tools to help me process what happened and move forward. Small steps followed. Got a real bed frame, joined a local soccer league, actually started accepting invitations instead of making excuses, and began cooking again instead of living on frozen pizzas and protein shakes. 2 months ago, I went on my first date since the divorce. Nothing serious, just coffee with a woman I met through a meetup hiking group. It was awkward AF. I'd forgotten how to have a normal conversation with someone new, but it was a start. Then, last week, something unexpected happened. I was at Home Depot buying paint for my new place, finally tired of staring at bare white walls, when I literally bumped carts with Heather. She looked different, shorter hair, less flashy clothes. For a split second, neither of us knew what to do. Then she asked if we could talk for a minute. Against my better judgment, I said yes. We sat on a bench outside, both clutching our Home Depot bags like shields. She started with a genuine apology. No excuses, no blame shifting, just owning how badly she'd hurt me and how she'd been working on herself to understand why she did it. I won't lie. Part of me was waiting for the manipulation, the tears, the attempt to get back together. But none of that came. She just wanted me to know she was sorry, that she was in therapy too, and hoped I was doing okay. Then she told me she was moving to Chicago for a fresh start, had an interview lined up, and was staying with a college friend until she found her own place. The weirdest part? I felt nothing. No anger, no pain, not even satisfaction about how things turned out. Just nothing, like watching the finale of a show you stopped caring about halfway through. We said goodbye awkwardly, no hug, just a nod as she walked away. Then she turned back and said something that stuck with me. I know it doesn't matter now, but I really did love you. I just didn't know how to love anyone properly, including myself. I stood there watching her drive off, thinking how 6 months ago that moment would have destroyed me all over again. Now it was just a strange Tuesday afternoon errand with an unexpected run-in from my past. Where I am now, my new place is coming together. It's smaller than the apartment we shared, but it's mine. No emotional landmines, no memories lurking in corners. Just a space that's slowly starting to feel like home. Work is good, friends are good, and I'm good, most days anyway. There are still moments when a song or a random thing reminds me of her, and it stings. But those moments are fewer and farther between. Yesterday, I deleted all the evidence files from my computer, kept backups on a drive locked in my safe, just in case. But I don't need those screenshots and timelines cluttering my digital life anymore. It felt symbolic, like clearing the browser cache but for my actual life. I've started dating someone new, taking it slow. She knows the basics of what happened, but none of the ugly details. She's patient with my trust issues and gives me space when I need it. It's too early to say if it's going anywhere, but it feels nice to feel something again. As for Heather, I heard from her mom, who still sends me birthday cards. Yeah, weird, I know. That she's actually doing okay. In Chicago. Got the job, found an apartment, making new friends. Part of me is genuinely glad, not because I wish her well specifically, but because it means this chapter is truly closed for both of us. The woman who once laughed about me being too stupid, to see her betrayal ended up learning the hardest lesson. Actions have consequences. Reputations take years to build, but seconds to destroy. And once trust breaks, some things can never be repaired. And me? I learned that I'm stronger than I ever knew, that starting over isn't the same as giving up, and that the best revenge isn't ruining someone else's life. It's rebuilding your own better than before. TLDR. Divorce finalized, ex-wife. Moved across the country, and I'm slowly putting my life back together. Her life unraveled mostly through natural consequences, and my comeback is still a whir.